Hey, what's up guys? So welcome back to another tutorial. So in this whole series we have covered about the pagination using AJAX. Like if I just reflect to the page 2, that's gonna show us the page 2 without page refreshing. And I reason why I created a lot of videos related to the pagination and using AJAX, just because you people knows that how we can work asynchronously, and a lot of applications that's what even requirement, and these are the requirements sometimes to build things with the AJAX, because that makes your things a lot smoother and a lot elegant, right? So that's what my plan is, to create all things using AJAX, right? So here you see that we have covered up the search as well. So search is all depends on the first name and the last name, right? So just I want to show you real quick that if I just want to type Dija, right, whatever the name is, so you see now we can see the one card, and soon I just remove that all, and everything removes and appears up on the browser, right? Now in the last section we are gonna create the filter, right? So filter is what we have used some drop downs, and on base of drop downs we can search the data, right? So in this whole series you see that you cover up a lot of things. If you are still missing up with your how I want to create that all, you can watch my previous video all from the beginning. And despite I just created this front end my own, and HTML and CSS is already inside that, but still I want to prefer to put the HTML code and the CSS in separately. But for now you can download from my GitHub repository, which I have the link in the description, so you can also download the code and you can start working with me, right? So that's what the one way you can do. All right, so let's start with the first topic. But before starting that, I want to show you that I want to have my filter on 3 things. So just I want to add up my filter here. So first you have to keep sure that you have the code inside your includes. I have the inc folder, and inside inc folder, which is includes, we have 3 select options, right? So keep sure that this HTML should be inside your filter file, right? Now I want to bring this in. I want to bring this in inside the home.blade, right? So far, well, you have your search here, you have your and this what is coming from user underscore data, where you see these cards which are which are coming from the database, and we fetching using database and looping through it. So that's what is that user underscore data. And next we have all the scripts, right? So I want to put up here my filter, and I just want to bring this in. inc is the name of the folder, and the file name, which is filter, right? I hope you guys understand that. But if you have still any issue with that, you can definitely comment me, and I want to reply you about all your queries, right? So make sure that you are doing each and everything step by step, right? So I bring this in, and let's have a refresh this out, and then how it looks. So this looks like this. So right now you have your options one, and what options one, which makes no sense. So we want to search the data on base of these cards. So I want to add some data also. So for that I just need to go to I want to add some data inside that. So some new features that I want to add on these cards is, I just want to real quick go to my search and user underscore data, which is inside my pages that you see here. And now next I have to do is to create some HTML for that. So we are happy with the email. I just want to add up here one more thing. Here is the salary, right? So I just grab it from here and put that after the type, which is this, right? So I want to put up here horizontal row HR, and down here we have our span class, right, which is the tag dash salary, and that should our salary, and from where the salary is coming from. Later on I want to bring up a new factory and call the seeder, right? So next we have the email address, which is fine, and I also need to add up a country just after the address, right? So just after the address, add another field for the country, and inside the users it's all good. And now I think so we are all done with that. Now I just want to, but if I refresh this one, I'm gonna show me an error, but I don't want to show you that. So first, now you need to go to your user factory, right? So I want to go to, I control P that and just simply type here user factory, right? And press enter. So that should be inside your root directory, which is the database folder. Inside factories, we have user factory.php file, right? So far we have this basic data. I'm happy with the first name, last name fine, email fine, type which is again fine. I need to add up here the faker for the country, which already coming from here. And where does the salary coming from, right? I just need to see salary, right? So I also need to add up this social underscore photo, which is not in the previous case. So I want to add this one as well. So I just press enter and add the social underscore photo. And yeah, I need to add up the salary after country. Just put that here. So that means that faker add the unique, and the number should be between 1000 and to I believe these are 1 2 3 4 5, right? 5 digit, 5 lakh, right? So that should be between these two numbers and all the numbers which are unique. You again, this all is not from my, I haven't created any function or something like this. All you can find from the Git repository, which I've given the link in the description as well. So you can add this as much data you want to filter, right? So I'll also need to definitely I just add the column, so I need to add this also inside my users table, right? So we bring up two tables. So first one is the salary, so I bring this down after the type, and next we have also bring one more field, the type, the salary, and the country, which is fine. I believe we are good to go from here, right? 1 2 3 13 fields. So right, that's fine. So I want to save this in, and let's start and run the seeder. So all I need to do is to go to my terminal. You can even open up your terminal of your Visual Studio Code, but I'm happy with the Git, so you can also install that Git from git-scm.com. That's where you can install that. So here I'm going to run a command, which is first I want to roll back all. So PHP artisan migrate rollback. So what does it do? It will remove all the data inside the column. So now I want to again migrate that. So it's very simple. Run the migration, and that want to create all the column inside the table, right? So that's want to run our migration, and next I want to run the seeder. So it's very simple. PHP artisan db seed. Make sure that if it's not showing up and showing any error, right? So that's worked perfectly, and let's go back to your database and see everything works well. So now we have our salary, we have our type, which we need to, I actually want to filter the data on base of type and the salary, and also I want to search on based of I believe one more thing that I searched through it. So let me see from my previous code. So I need to go to my filter. So I have searched on base of three things. The first, country also. So country, type, and the salary, right? So these are the three main columns where I want to search, right? So let's go back to your code and just close every irrelevant things. Okay, so now we are done with the migrations. We are done with all the data added up using Seeder. And now I'm gonna go to my global constant. And the reason why I'm going there, global constant, right? I want that, I want to add up here. Let me go to my browser and show you that I want to display some data as well, definitely, because I want to populate data on my select boxes, and that's what we can filter the records using from our cards. So I real quick go to the global constant. So right now it depends on the data that we have, but this is a large data. I don't want I don't need want you to do this all stuff, because that makes difficult for you to understand, right? So just make it very simpler. So I'm right now I'm on my global constants, and First thing I'm going to go here is we have the user type front end all and the user type backend, which we already created that before for the last video. Now this const all means that in some cases that we want all the data displayed display using the filter using these drop downs. So I just added a variable for the all. Next we have our list underscore type. So make sure this list type is we created an array and call it using self, and that want to bring the value for the front end and that want to bring up the value for the back end, right? Next we have for the countries. Now I want to adding up the countries which are right now these selected countries which I get from the database. Depending on the data that we have, we can do later on. I think so it makes sense once I do it. Next we have some salaries variable as well, which again should matches with our database. Right now all the results on in our database should be different because that's I grab from a last code, right? So it might be different, but we will grab from the database later. All right, now just close that up and go to your filter.blade.php. So I go up to my filter.blade.php and let's bring this up all the data here. So right now we have our select name and just ID is empty. So I'm gonna do first for the salary underscore range. So I just put that up and let's option value equal to empty, right? So I want to remove this value for now because we're not saving any data, right? We are just filtering the data from the database. We are getting the data. So what I does is here is I just want to grab the for each and remove this option. We don't need that option because we need to fetch the data from our global constant. So I paste it up here. So what does it do? We bring the /app/constant/global constant. So we bring this in, we bring this class of the global constant, which we can we grab and we put up inside our Blade page. So make sure that once you're putting any class, defining your class inside that, so you bring this all, make sure that /app/constant is the name of the folder and the name of the class, and we need to access the all, so I bring this in. And here in that case I just want to grab all the salaries and all the range and just display and looping through it and just put up, we need the range values. So just refresh that, make sure that everything works fine for our case. So yeah, you see here now we have only the values, and same I need to do for my for the sort by. So sort by means here in my case is we need to filter the result on base of the front end back end, because we have our types, two types, which are back end and front end, right? So I need to filter on base of type as well. So I give it the ID of sort underscore by. So grab this, the same thing. I did the same thing, but here I just inside this we want to display the type, which are two front end and back end, and this actually list underscore type is coming from this variable, right? So just show you real quick there. And the last thing we have is the country. So I grab this country, I put this ID, just remove these names, we don't need that. So looks everything clean. All right, so we have bring our three options. Next we have to all I need to do is for the country. Yeah, so just grab this all, and even I need this I missed one thing here. I need to bring this all case for the sort by as well. So yeah, I have this, right? So just that's fine. And next the country. So I again grab my code, and again this all is for the all and list underscore countries, which are coming from the class, and we display it by using loop and print the values, right? So display the values, and now I need to go to my browser and refresh this, and now you see that we have populated our all data, right? So front and back end, we have the salaries, which looks very much horrible because that looks not seems to be like the salaries, but it's fine. The concept remains the same. You can change the values if you want to, right? So now we have the countries as well, and everything works well. Right now we need to go to our model. So for the model, I need to go to the user.php, right? So here in the function that we already created, which is the get users, right? So that's where we are gonna display all the selected values, right? So first we are gonna work with the country, right? So first work with the country. So I need to bring this country inside as a parameter because we need to pass to the controller. So that's where I just pass this country, and I want to call to the controller. So for the country, just after this ending of this if statement, I need to bring up an if condition, right? And the condition is very simple, that if there is a country and the country is not equal to all, right? So just want to bring this global constant, and this is coming from, and give it the value of all, right? I just pass it if there is a country and country is not equal to global constant all, and just put up some parentheses and saves that, and that's gonna show me up an error. And the reason why, because that should be, and also the country. So just want to spell it better. I'm sorry guys, I'm not good in spellings, so really apologize for that. Right, so if country and country is not equal to, and we need to bring this class as well, otherwise want to go show us an error. So I need to copy that and just bring this inside my user.php. So I bring this class in, and next we need to go down and if country, and if it's not the all case. So remember, this all means that if we need all the countries to be shown, right? But now if it's not in that case, and then remember, and means that both the conditions should be true. So if there is a country and it's not equal to all, make sure that both conditions should be true. Then you need to do is to go and grab the users, and grab the users where. So I put up here where condition, and there I want to display here that users.country and passed a country, right? So whatever we have, that's going to pass, or whatever the country that we choose, so that want to display us there. So that's fine for the one case. Now I'm going to go here inside my home.blade.php. So go up here and down after the search, right? I just want to put up a semicolon. Down after here, I need to get the value. So I put up here country, and I also need to bring my on change property. So on change, it's as soon I change an event, the option. So I just bring this in, and that's fine. I don't need to pass up any event. That's just for testing, right? So if I change the country, means that if I change the value from the drop down, right? So on change is a property. If I click this, that want to show us record on based of that. So soon after I change the country, that's going to call this function, but we haven't done anything yet so far for the country. So I need to grab this and put this inside my. So this is going to search on base of country. So what actually we do is we get the value of selected country. We created a variable, and for that ID we grab this ID, whatever the change that we have, it's gonna select it. So we are actually getting the value of the country, means that whatever I search, this is gonna pass up here, and we need to pass that up inside our data. So I'm gonna put up here I'm gonna put up here country. That should be country, and equal to the value that we passed. So this is gonna get the value for the country, and all good for now, right? So now I'm gonna go to my controller, which is the home controller. So that should be inside my app HTTP controllers, home controller, and that's where I need to pass up my requests, right? So we get the request from the model user.php. So I'm gonna bring my country in. I'm gonna create the country and passed up the request, and inside the request we pass up the country. As simple as that. So that's not only what we needed. We need to pass that as well inside the get user. So just have the query, I want to pass up here country, right? And same in the case that we created a static function and we need to pass up the global constant for all, right? If that case, if we have to grab all the countries, so this is what I pass up here, and on base of the selection, this is gonna get the request and pass up and render into our page. So let's have a look and see that everything works fine for our case. So I believe it's taking some time. It might gonna show some error, I believe. So I'm gonna open up my inspect real quick. Yeah, so it shows up an error, and definitely there should be an error because we haven't bring up inside our controller. So let's get back into the code and bring this in, because we are using global constant inside our index function. So that's the reason why it shows up an error. And let's refresh back, and now you see we haven't got any error, right? So let's inspect this out. I just want to add up on our browser on the right. So right now we have to see our database. So there should be a country column right there. So right now we have Malaysia, which is, I believe it's inside my variable. And let's bring one more country, which is Uganda, I believe. So bring this in as well. That's what I talk about already, that depending whatever the data we have. So I'm gonna remove this and bring this in. So right now we have Malaysia and Uganda in our database, and might be there are other. So let's have a see and check this out. So refresh this all, and even I don't need to refresh page, but still it's fine. Let's search on base of country. So I'm gonna grab Malaysia, and it's working fine, right? So there's no error, right? So that's good to see. So you see, I have searched the Malaysia, and that's gonna show up the result. Let's search for some other country. I believe there's a Uganda as well. Let's search that, and you see now the country Uganda as well exists here. And let's search another country. Let's suppose I want a Finland. It's not in our database. The reason why it's empty, because that's not matches up with our request. There is no country with the, yeah, that matches up. Malaysia matches up. Let's look for the Finland, my favorite country, and let's look for the Norway and Spain. So there's no any matching record. So if I click on all, that's gonna display us all the data, right? So that's superb. So we are done with the first one, the country. The third drop down. Now let's move to the another one, which is the, let's work for the front end and the back end, right? So I'm gonna go real quick to my code and go back. I just need to close that all for now. And now I need to go to my user.php, and I'm gonna put one more for the, let's look for the sort by, right? So I just want to again bring the same thing like I did for the country. I think so if you guys get this idea, you can do it. You can quit this video and try to do your own, but it's just a bit concept here. I just use here a good trick here, that if I use here if condition, and let's see if there is a sort by, if something we want to sort. So if there's a sort by, let's bring this variable in again and make sure that LC first. So this is what I do if in some cases, if the lowercase first, if the letter is in capital, and we can even convert that into lowercase. So that's why I use this. It's a very useful function, like just like uppercase or lowercase first, right? So if the first character, it will, like if we have here like front end. So this function do is, it will, the first letter should be a lowercase, right? So which is F, right? So I bring this in, and I forget to put here equal to, assign it, and make sure that should be in lowercase if it's in the case. So let's bring another condition, which is if the sort by is equal to the front end. So it's very simple. I bring this variable and assign global constant and get the value of the front end if it matches up, right? So just put the same condition as above and change that to the type, because make sure that this type, we have the column in our database which is type. Let's show you. So backend and front end, so we have a column named type. So this is coming from here. And the name of the variable that we pass here is the sort by, right? It's very simple. So if otherwise, we need to do the same stuff, and we need to grab this same thing and just make this a backend, right? So if in that case, if it's a backend, and grab the and let's put that into it, and now we are good to go, right? So we are good to go for the, let's do some comments, right? So it looks more meaningful to you. So this is filter by country, and this is filter by you could say it's filter by type, right? Okay, so we are good to go from here. Let's go to our home.blade, right? So home.blade. So I go back to my home.blade.php, which should be right here. And what I'm gonna do here is the inside my, so I want to do the same stuff for the search on base of type. So I grab this up and put this inside my get more users. So I did the same stuff here. So I created a variable. So sort by, I need to give this ID to, so this is that's the ID we passed to our drop down, and on the base of selected values. So this is gonna do the same stuff, and very much similar stuff that we need for our type, right? So I need to give that into my data. So sort by, we pass up the data, and that's get the value, and we are good to go for here. Now go to your home controller, right? So it's very simple. I believe you guys are very much with me. I hope so. So let's create another variable and set that to be sort underscore by, and sort by, and give it and pass the request, which is coming from the which we pass up inside our which we get from the data, and pass it to the controller. So let's pass up here a sort by, right? And we will later on, we will do for the range, right? So I just want to display up here, and same thing I need to do is but here I just want to do some different stuff, like by default this value should be front end, right? For what that actually it means. So in our previous case, we have our all types, like if I want to search all, still fine, you can do that. It depends on you. So however you want to modify, if you want to get all the data, so you're gonna also do that. So let's have a search and see. So I'm gonna refresh this out, and let's look for the front end. And so why does it not work? I think so I haven't called up the function, I believe. Yeah, that might be the case. So I did not change the value, right? So what I'm gonna do here is to create the sort. We actually give it the ID, so I forget that to bring in. So we passed here, and let's see, does it works or not? So I refresh that. Let's look for the front end, and I hope it's working, and it's working very nicely. Even we can change the page, so all our front end, right? And let's move to the first one, and if I just want all the backend, and now you see all the backend developers are, right? So that's perfect, right? So we are done with also on base of type, right? Now the last thing that is which we are missing is the salaries, right? We need to search on base of salary. So this actually, the whole app concept is like, if you're making it like a job portal where you need to search the data, so you can apply all the changes, and especially most of the search is on our on the websites, like where you need to search. One of the best example is if you're working for the if you're building some websites for searching hotels or motels and many other great things like this. So your search work really vital role in such kind of application. So the concept is that to make sure you guys to understand this, and you can create anything like that. So the code is written in a way that you could understand everything. So let's last thing we are going for on select on base of salary. So let's have a comment here, filter by salaries, right? Salaries. So I just want to remove that, and so filter by salaries, and I need to add up here where does it go? So let's go to my user.php, and let's look for my ranges. So it's a very same thing that I just don't need to keep repeatedly write that. So pass up this range, just very much same like what we did before. So pass up here your range, and that's gonna, we did the same stuff, that if the range and if it's not equal to all, and we can search on base of salary. So if the request is that, like if we have a selected salary, so that's gonna search it and get it into the range, and that's gonna pass up inside our controller. So how we want to do, it's very similar to what we have here. So let's go into your home.blade.php and bring this in, and we are gonna do the same stuff. So let's copy that up and paste it down here, right? And let's make this indented. So we get the ID as similar, we get the value, and let's pass up inside the data. So we get the value and put up here. And last thing is very simple, is again I go to my controller. Look how easy it is and how difficult it looks, right? So we passed here the value, whatever we have, and we give it the range, and same stuff for my global constant all, and put up here, right? Just same like this. And let's have a look here, right? So we passed up here the global all for there, and we have now 4 parameters. We have 4 parameter, and let's I just want to add up the range request here. So let's put up the request for this. So $request dash range. So remember, this range is coming and passed into it, and let's route up the data. So I believe we are good to go, but now I need to grab the salaries. Let's suppose I want to grab this salary and put up inside my global constant one of the salaries. Let's grab this one, and also one for the Malaysia, so we can cascadedly search the data. Where does the Malaysia? Yeah, there it is. So grab this and put up here. Right, so I think so this is fine. I just get the 2 values. You can the first one and the fourth one, right? So let's search it. So I just refresh that, and let's first see that if it's working. So I just grab this, and again I haven't called up the function, that's for sure. So I again missed that. So go back to your home.blade.php and copy that up and press enter, and inside your filter.blade.php just get this ID for your salary underscore range, and that's call up the function, right? So let's have a look now. So I refresh that, and the first one, right? So I close that up, and you can see only the one record. Now the interesting part is that now we have all the records. So what that actually it means. So now in case of if I want someone as a backend developer, and also I want someone to be from Malaysia, so it's not gonna work, because the reason why, because it's also need to see he must be the salary should matches up, and he should be backend developer, right? So these are the three matching record. It also check dependently that all the records should be matches up. If I just missed up any one of them, right? So that's not gonna work, right? And if I put up here all, in that case it shows us one, because I just choose here that from all the salaries, but he should be a backend developer, and the country should be Malaysia, and that's gonna search us more robustly. We can only filter the record, right? So this is what all the end for this whole fantastic video, which you can hardly find on the other YouTube channel. And I recommend back again, I always say that you can learn from other great different resources are available on YouTube. You can search through them. As I always say, I'm a big fan of Traversary Media. You can watch his great videos, and that's where I have learned a lot of stuff, all the JavaScript, all the front end stuff. So he's been a great giant. He's been a fantastic one. So I recommend you all. And we are done with that. So please keep like and subscribing my YouTube channel. And I've been planning that all the videos that I created previously, I want to make it series just like that series, so you guys can learn a lot better. Rather, I just want to give an explanation which makes sometimes it makes sense and sometimes it not. Mostly for the beginners, it doesn't make sense, because if you're very new in Laravel, hard to understand the concept. So I'm planning to make those videos again, right? So I hope you guys will enjoy, and please leave a like if you really enjoyed this whole series. Must watch from the first. And I want to see you with the great next tutorial for the next time, right? So goodbye for now.